Sure, so my name is Cynthia Parizza Farese. I am 29 years old. I used to work in the banking sector for around 10 years, and then I decided that I needed a career change. Archaeology has always been something for me. Since I was little, I used to even watch movies, and I used to be fascinated by the work archaeologists were doing. And basically I chose archaeology, and here I am.
Okay, so my name is Juliet. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to be an archaeologist. Digging was always something I found very interesting, and I hope from archaeology to specialize in conservation.
So my name is Christos Christopoulos. I come from South Africa, but I'm Greek. I'm 21 years old, and I chose archaeology specifically because it's been a passion of mine since I was very young, and I wanted to take it through, and I've been very much enjoying it. So.
Yes, so this site is in Marnisi, what is known in Marnisi, in Marsaxlokk. It was discovered back in 2018, and basically during site monitoring.
Okay, so the site was discovered in 2018, and it's located in Marsaxlokk, next to a supermarket basically. I think it's called Zaytoun. At the moment we're excavating the area. We believe that it might be an agricultural site.
Currently we're working near Marsaxlokk, and we are looking at a couple different time periods, a more modern farmhouse, and then we have a Roman villa, and we are still working on the time periods, but we're thinking roughly late Roman period, which is, yeah.
So around 18 people are currently working on the site. We have students, we have people from the superintendents for cultural heritage as well, and our supervisors, Professor Vella, Dr. Betts. Basically the day starts, it's from 7 till 4, and what we do mainly throughout the day are either excavating parts of the site, and the rest is documenting meaning that we do site plans, we fill out SU sheets for each stratigraphic unit, meaning that whilst we are excavating, basically there are different units and different layers, and for each layer that you excavate, you have to fill in this SU sheet for future reference, because during excavation you are actually destroying the site whilst excavating. So plans, SU sheets, and we also take photographs, basically anything that we can do to monitor the site and monitor our progress.
I would say that every day we're a group of around 20 people, and the work they usually includes making plans of the areas, making sections, excavating, bagging of material and sorting of the material. Okay.
So currently we have about 8-9 students, I'd say, and then a couple at namely 6, 3 professors, 4 sometimes. And the workday generally consists of starting out at 7 o'clock in the morning. We go till 10, and we have a short break of 15 minutes, or quarter to 10, and then we start again at 10. We work till 12, have 1 hour break, and then we finish work at 4 after the 1 hour break.
Okay, so for excavation method we use the stratigraphic excavation method. Basically what this is that you have various different units. So sometimes you have, for example, a layer which consists mainly of soil and stones, for example. Then you have another layer which consists of ashlar blocks, and what we do is we just take out layer by layer, and we document it all on the SU sheets. And we do this mainly for reference, especially future reference, and to document everything. And because like some years ago people used to just excavate sites to get precious artifacts, and then they would lose all the data. Whereas the way that we do it, we keep everything, we document everything, and we have data for also publications and for references also for the public.
Okay, so we generally excavate in general in archaeology, you excavate in a stratigraphic method. And so you divide your section up into layers, and you cut it up, and you essentially say this is layer 202, 203, 204. And you dig slowly that layer, and you try to find maybe bones, pottery, any of that. And you use that evidence that you find in each layer to try put together a story of what you find, and that's generally how it goes. This site specifically, because we have a lot of time periods and stratigraphic units meshing together, it's kind of difficult to tell a story. And so whilst you're doing the exertion of pushing away levels, you also have to put some brain power into thinking of which layers coincide into which, and it can get a bit difficult in that retrospect, but otherwise it's not too difficult.
So we found a lot of pottery dating to like Roman, even a bit of Byzantine. We found shell, bones, we found even glass, some metals.
Yes, so we found a little some metal. However, we also found lots of pottery, and mainly Roman pottery, which is this is basically being considered to be in fact a Roman villa, with what we have been finding here. We have cisterns. We found 2 cisterns, the olive press, counterweight blocks for them. We have in a specific area there are what seem to be vine trenches. And the most interesting is that we've also found like whole pottery. Like we found a whole plate, we also found a whole vase. It was just chipped off a little bit from the top. And yesterday we also discovered what seems to be a very large pottery, a very large pot that they might have used for cooking. However, we haven't yet excavated it in full.
Okay, so generally when we excavate, we collect bags of pottery, glass, charcoal in tinfoil to preserve it for dating. And so we store the bags, clean the pottery, and then we analyze it to see what kind of time period we're looking at. As I said earlier, we're looking at late Roman. So and that's only in one of the areas. So because the late Roman area is quite high up, we might be looking at early Roman period, but that's not, maybe Republican, we're not sure yet. And then we store some of the pots. If we can restore them, we may store them in an exhibit, or whichever process may follow afterwards. It depends on how our professors or how the higher ups deem certain artifacts as worthy.
In my opinion, the most interesting, I think, would be those 2, the plate, the whole plate, and the whole vase, because we found lots of fragments of pottery, but those were the only 2 up till now, at least, that we found that are whole. And I also forgot to mention, we also found a piece of pottery with a god's name on it, Astarte.
There are quite a few interesting finds, but I would say, similar to the area over there in OP, we might have found what we think is a vine trench, which could indicate that the land was definitely used for agriculture, so that's an interesting feature.
I'm really interested in that worked bone. I think it's quite interesting how it's shaped. It's kind of shaped like a hairpin, but we don't really know yet. And we're going to, that's exciting, so that's going to be great.